You've been doing everything right, eating less, moving more, pushing through the fatigue, and your body still feels like it's falling apart. What if the problem isn't how hard you're working, but what you're putting on your plate? In the next few minutes, you're going to discover 5 superfoods that doctors rarely talk about in the same conversation, but that science has quietly confirmed can completely transform how fast your body heals, recovers, and resets itself. This isn't about a diet trend. This is about biology. Most people chasing weight loss, fat burning, or just better energy every single day are missing the most critical piece of the puzzle: recovery. And the 5 foods you're about to learn aren't just healthy. They are cellular repair machines. Stay until the end, because the last one on this list will genuinely surprise you, and it might be the one thing standing between you and the results you've been fighting for. There is a conversation happening right now in top nutrition labs, elite sports medicine clinics, and longevity research centers around the world, and it almost never makes it to the mainstream. The conversation is this: your body's ability to lose weight fast, eliminate abdominal fat, and sustain real fitness long-term is not primarily determined by how much you exercise or how strictly you restrict calories. It is determined, in large part, by how efficiently your body recovers. Recovery is not passive. It is not simply what happens while you sleep. It is an active, resource-intensive biological process that requires specific raw materials, and if those materials are missing from your diet, your body will always be working against itself, no matter how disciplined you are. This is the piece of the puzzle that most weight loss tips completely ignore. The fitness industry has spent decades focused on output, burning more, eating less, moving faster, while completely neglecting the input side of the equation that actually drives results. When your body is in a chronic state of low-grade inflammation, when your cells are oxidized, when your gut lining is compromised, and your hormones are dysregulated, no amount of exercise or calorie restriction will give you the transformation you're working toward. You will lose weight, regain it, feel exhausted, and wonder what you're doing wrong. The answer is almost always found not in what you're removing from your diet, but in what you're failing to add. The 5 superfoods explored in this video are not exotic, expensive, or hard to find. They are accessible, scientifically validated, and when incorporated consistently into healthy meal plans, they begin working at a cellular level to repair tissue, lower inflammation, optimize hormone function, and critically boost metabolism in ways that support sustainable fat burning, without destroying your energy or your mental health resources in the process. Understanding why these foods work requires a brief but important look at what actually happens inside your body when it enters recovery mode. Every time you exercise, experience stress, consume processed food, or simply live through the environmental exposures of modern life, your body accumulates a form of cellular damage driven by free radicals, unstable molecules that essentially attack healthy cells and accelerate aging, inflammation, and dysfunction. Your body has a natural antioxidant defense system designed to neutralize these free radicals, but that system has limits. When the damage outpaces the defense, and in most modern lifestyles, it does, the result is what researchers call oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is the silent engine behind stubborn fat storage, poor metabolic function, hormonal imbalance, slow muscle recovery, brain fog, and chronic fatigue. It is also one of the primary barriers to lose belly fat effectively, because elevated cortisol and inflammatory cytokines triggered by oxidative stress directly instruct your body to hold on to abdominal fat as a survival mechanism. This is not a theory, this is peer-reviewed biochemistry, and the most powerful way to counteract this process, more powerful than any supplement stack, any fasting protocol, or any workout program, is to consistently feed your body foods that are extraordinarily dense in the specific compounds it needs to repair, defend, and regenerate. The 5 superfoods on this list were selected not because they are trendy or because someone put them on a magazine cover, but because the research behind them is clear, consistent, and deeply compelling. The first superfood on this list addresses one of the most underestimated drivers of weight gain and metabolic slowdown: chronic gut inflammation. Most people trying to lose weight healthily are not aware that the gut microbiome, the vast ecosystem of bacteria living in your intestinal tract, has a direct and powerful influence over your body's ability to burn fat, absorb nutrients, regulate appetite hormones like leptin and ghrelin, and even maintain the kind of emotional stability and mental health resources necessary to stay consistent with healthy habits long term. When the gut microbiome is imbalanced, which is the case for the majority of people eating a standard modern diet, the result is systemic inflammation that makes fat burning physiologically harder and emotional eating biologically more likely. What most healthy meal plans miss is that it's not enough to eat clean. In a general sense, you have to actively feed the beneficial bacteria in your gut with the precise substrates they need to thrive. Crowd out harmful bacterial populations, and repair the gut lining that, when permeable or damaged, allows inflammatory particles to leak into the bloodstream and trigger a cascading immune response throughout the entire body. The first superfood in this video does exactly that. It is fermented, widely available, and when consumed regularly as part of a broader fitness and nutrition strategy, it produces measurable improvements in metabolic rate, reductions in visceral fat, the dangerous fat stored around internal organs, and significant improvements in both digestion and mood. If you have been struggling to lose weight fast despite doing everything else right, there is a strong possibility your gut is working against you. This food is where the reset begins. Most people approach weight loss as a numbers game. Calories in, calories out, macros tracked, meals weighed, steps counted. And while those variables matter, they represent only the surface layer of a far more complex biological system that determines whether your body becomes a lean, efficient, self-repairing machine or a stressed, inflamed, fat-storing one. The difference between those two outcomes is not willpower, it is not discipline, it is chemistry. Specifically, it is the chemistry happening inside your mitochondria, the microscopic energy producing structures inside every cell in your body, and whether or not those mitochondria have the raw materials they need to function at the level your fitness goals demand. Here is something the weight loss industry rarely tells you. Mitochondrial dysfunction is one of the leading contributors to metabolic slowdown, chronic fatigue, and the inability to eliminate abdominal fat even when someone is eating in a caloric deficit. When mitochondria are damaged by oxidative stress, they become inefficient. They produce less energy, generate more cellular waste, and signal the body to reduce metabolic output as a protective measure. The result is a metabolism that runs slower than it should, a body that burns fewer calories at rest, and a fat-burning system that is essentially stuck in low gear regardless of how hard you push it in the gym. This is why so many people hit plateaus that feel impossible to break, and why the conventional advice to simply eat less and move more eventually stops producing results. The second superfood on this list targets mitochondrial health directly. It is rich in a specific class of polyphenols that have been shown in clinical research to activate a protein called AMPK, often referred to as the body's master metabolic switch, which signals cells to increase energy production, enhance insulin sensitivity, and accelerate the breakdown of stored fat for fuel. Activating AMPK is one of the most reliable and well-documented pathways to boost metabolism at a cellular level, and it is the same pathway targeted by some of the most widely used metabolic medications in modern medicine. The difference is that this superfood does it naturally, without side effects, and with a range of additional benefits that extend far beyond slimming and fat burning alone. Regular consumption of this food has been linked in multiple peer-reviewed studies to reductions in fasting blood glucose, improvements in lipid profiles, lower markers of systemic inflammation, and enhanced cognitive function, all of which have direct implications not just for physical health, but for the kind of mental health resources and emotional resilience that make long-term lifestyle change actually sustainable. This matters more than most fitness content acknowledges. The psychological dimension of weight loss is enormous, and when the body is chronically inflamed and metabolically dysregulated, the brain suffers too. Mood disorders, anxiety, difficulty concentrating, and low motivation are not just emotional problems, they are often physiological symptoms of a body that is unrepaired, undernourished at the cellular level, and overwhelmed by the cumulative burden of modern life. The third superfood on this list operates on a different but equally powerful mechanism. Rather than targeting the gut microbiome or the mitochondria directly, this food works primarily through its extraordinary concentration of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, the long-chain polyunsaturated fats that serve as the primary structural building blocks of cell membranes throughout the body. Every single cell you have, from the neurons in your brain to the muscle fibers in your legs to the lining of your arteries, is surrounded by a membrane whose integrity, flexibility, and function depend on an adequate supply of these fats. When that supply is low, which it chronically is in most Western diets dominated by processed seed oils and refined carbohydrates, cell membranes become rigid and dysfunctional, inflammatory signaling increases, and the body's ability to repair damaged tissue after exercise or injury slows dramatically. For anyone pursuing fat burning and fitness goals, this has a concrete and measurable consequence. Muscle repair after training is a direct driver of metabolic rate. Lean muscle tissue burns significantly more calories at rest than fat tissue, which is why building and maintaining muscle is one of the most effective long-term strategies to lose weight fast and keep it off. But muscle repair requires efficient cellular communication, adequate protein synthesis, and controlled inflammation, all of which are downstream of cell membrane health. When omega-3 levels are insufficient, the inflammation triggered by training takes longer to resolve, recovery windows extend, training frequency drops, and the cumulative stimulus for muscle development is reduced. The result is slower progress, more fatigue, and a body that feels perpetually beaten down rather than progressively stronger and leaner. Incorporating this third superfood into healthy meal plans 2 to 3 times per week produces a measurable shift in the body's inflammatory baseline over a period of 4 to 8 weeks. Researchers have documented reductions in interleukin-6 and TNF-alpha, 2 of the primary markers of systemic inflammation, as well as improvements in heart rate variability, sleep quality, and subjective recovery scores in both athletic and non-athletic populations. These are not minor quality of life improvements. They are the biological conditions under which real, lasting physical transformation becomes possible. They are the difference between a body that is constantly trying to survive and one that is actively thriving, rebuilding, adapting, and becoming more capable with each passing week. What makes these 3 superfoods and the 2 still to come so remarkable is not just that each one works independently. It is that they work synergistically when consumed together as part of a consistent, intentional approach to nutrition. They create a compounding effect that accelerates recovery, deepens fat burning, and systematically dismantles the physiological barriers that have been keeping your body from reaching the level of health and leanness you have been working toward. The final 2 foods on this list complete the picture in ways that will reframe how you think about slimming, weight loss tips, and what it actually means to nourish a body designed to heal itself. There is a reason elite athletes, longevity researchers, and the world's most respected functional medicine doctors all circle back to the same fundamental truth when asked about peak physical performance and sustainable body composition. You cannot outtrain a body that cannot recover. You cannot calorie restrict your way to lasting leanness when your hormones are dysregulated and your inflammatory load is chronically elevated. And you absolutely cannot build the kind of metabolic resilience that makes it possible to lose belly fat, maintain lean muscle, and sustain high energy levels long-term without addressing the deep biological infrastructure that makes all of those outcomes possible. The 4th and 5th superfoods on this list target that infrastructure with a precision that no supplement, no fasting window, and no workout program can replicate on its own. The 4th superfood works through one of the most fascinating and underappreciated mechanisms in all of nutritional science: the activation of the body's internal antioxidant production system. Most people think about antioxidants in terms of what they consume: vitamin C from an orange, vitamin E from nuts, polyphenols from berries. And while dietary antioxidants are genuinely valuable, they represent only one layer of the body's defense against oxidative damage. The deeper, more powerful layer is an endogenous antioxidant production, the body's own capacity to manufacture protective compounds, like glutathione, superoxide dismutase, and catalase, which operate at a scale and efficiency that no amount of dietary antioxidants alone can match. Glutathione in particular, often called the master antioxidant, is directly responsible for neutralizing the most destructive forms of free radical damage, supporting liver detoxification, regulating immune function, and maintaining the cellular environment in which fat burning and tissue repair can occur at full capacity. The problem is that glutathione production declines sharply with age, chronic stress, poor sleep, alcohol consumption, and critically with the kind of intense exercise that most people pursuing fitness and weight loss goals are doing regularly. This creates a paradox. The harder you train to lose weight fast and build a leaner body, the more you deplete the very compound your body needs to recover from that training effectively. The 4th superfood on this list contains a rare combination of sulfur-containing amino acids and bioactive compounds that have been clinically shown to directly upregulate glutathione synthesis, essentially instructing your body to produce more of its own most powerful protective molecule. The downstream effects on recovery speed, inflammation reduction, liver function, and metabolic efficiency are profound, and they become increasingly apparent the more consistently this food is incorporated into a structured nutritional approach. Beyond its antioxidant properties, this superfood also delivers a meaningful contribution to healthy meal plans through its impact on insulin sensitivity and blood sugar regulation, chronically elevated blood glucose, and the insulin resistance that develops. Alongside it are among the most significant metabolic barriers to eliminate abdominal fat. Because high insulin levels directly suppress fat mobilization, they essentially lock stored fat inside fat cells and prevent it from being released for energy. By improving insulin sensitivity through regular consumption of this food, the body becomes progressively more capable of accessing stored fat as a fuel source, which translates directly into more effective and consistent fat burning even during periods of rest. This is one of the most overlooked weight loss tips in mainstream nutrition. Fixing insulin sensitivity is often more impactful than any specific exercise protocol or caloric adjustment, because it addresses the hormonal environment in which all other fat loss efforts either succeed or fail. The 5th and final superfood on this list is perhaps the most counterintuitively powerful of all, and it is the one that consistently surprises people the most when they learn the depth of its impact on body composition, recovery, and overall health. This food is not marketed aggressively. It does not appear on the cover of fitness magazines or get featured in celebrity diet plans. But the research behind it is extraordinary, spanning decades of clinical investigation into its effects on inflammation, cardiovascular health, neurological function, gut integrity, immune regulation, and most relevant to anyone focused on slimming and sustainable weight loss, its unique capacity to modulate the expression of genes involved in fat storage and fat burning. This food contains a class of bioactive compounds that interact directly with nuclear receptors inside fat cells, influencing at the genetic level whether those cells expand or contract, whether they store energy or release it, and whether the surrounding inflammatory environment promotes or suppresses metabolic function. This is nutrigenomics, the science of how food compounds communicate with your DNA, and it represents one of the most exciting frontiers in modern nutritional research. The implications for anyone trying to lose weight healthily are enormous, because it means that food is not simply fuel, it is information. Every meal you eat sends a biochemical signal to your cells, and the quality and specificity of that signal determines to a remarkable degree what your body does with the energy, the nutrients, and the raw materials you provide it. When all 5 of these superfoods are brought together within a consistent, intentionally designed nutritional framework supported by adequate sleep, appropriate stress management, and a fitness routine calibrated to your recovery capacity, the cumulative effect on body composition, energy, and overall well-being is genuinely transformative. This is not hyperbole. This is the logical outcome of giving a body that is biologically designed to heal, adapt, and thrive exactly what it needs to do all 3 things simultaneously. The people who struggle most with weight loss, who cycle through diets and programs and weight loss tips without ever finding something that sticks, are almost always missing this layer. Not the effort, not the intention. The biology. Your body wants to recover. It wants to burn fat efficiently, build lean tissue, regulate its own hormones, and operate with the kind of sustained energy and mental clarity that makes a healthy life not just possible but genuinely enjoyable. Give it the right tools, starting with these 5 superfoods, and watch what it is capable of doing for you. There's a natural solution to speed up your metabolism, control cravings, and support your weight loss journey naturally and effectively. Click the link in the first pinned comment to start transforming your body. If you want to truly transform your body and learn how to lose belly fat healthily, don't stop here. In the next video, I'll share practical strategies and little-known secrets to boost your metabolism and keep the weight off for good. Click now and discover how to take your weight loss to the next level.